Thanks very much for staying with us. We are getting the live pictures now of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has now touched down in Rome. And this is a key development which is on the participation of the 18th ASEAN Summit, India-ASEAN Summit, where we are looking at all of those leaders there who will be deliberating on the regional and international issues of common interest that also concerns when it comes to the South China Sea and counter-terrorism. And the Prime Minister will be attending his 8th G20 summit there in Rome. That is from the 29th of October till the 31st of October upon the invitation of Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi. And what is being said that the two leaders haven't really met in person. They've had a telephonic conversation before, but also what is being said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi would be attending the G20 summit in Rome, and this would be his 8th G20 summit. And last year he was attending the summit that was hosted by Saudi Arabia, but that was held virtually because of the pandemic. Now the Prime Minister there, who had left for Italy, he has just reached there in Rome, we are told, where he will be participating in the G20 summit. And after the G20 summit, he is also scheduled to attend the COP26 Glasgow, wherein he is expected to pitch in for a collective measures to deal with the situation as to what's happening there in Afghanistan. But meanwhile, when the focus comes to the Italy summit, the concentration and the focus will be on the recovery from the pandemic and strengthening global health governance, economic recovery and resilience, and climate change and energy transition, along with sustainable development and food security. Many of those measures that will be taken up by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the G20 summit that will be held in Rome. Straight away going across to our senior executive editor Abhishek Kapoor joining us on the phone line this morning. Good morning to you, Abhishek. The Prime Minister has just landed in Italy.
Well, yes, and it's going to be a very busy 2 days for the Prime Minister in Rome and Vatican. He would be having many bilaterals on the side of the G20 summit, the Leaders Summit, which is the 16th summit of the economic grouping between developed and developing countries. Of course, this is the first in-person Leaders Summit happening post-COVID. So, in a sense, a lot of exchange of ideas, minds, and experiences between these leaders. Prime Minister is going to have a bilateral with Prime Minister Draghi of Italy, and is going to make a call and meet Pope Francis in Vatican. Those are going to be important meetings. And then, of course, a few more bilaterals, including with Australia, possibly with President Biden again in Rome. So it's going to be two important days, given the fact that Prime Minister, underscoring the importance of the summit, Prime Minister has taken along with him both Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, who in fact is also the Sherpa for the G20 summit. So, in fact, he has been camping there for a while now, making sure that all the meetings and deliverables are in place before the Prime Minister arrives. So, 2 intense days of diplomacy and putting India's place, underscoring India's place in this very important grouping, Amita, where Prime Minister would be impressing upon the manner in which India has tackled COVID and come out of it in a manner that we are the fastest growing economy in the world, and we are going to be so perhaps for the next couple of years.
And also, Abhishek, the Prime Minister is just landing there in Rome. It is early, I guess, around 6 a.m. there when the Prime Minister has landed. But let's talk also about the importance of G20. How it has emerged not only as a premier global forum for international cooperation, but also when it comes to an important platform to exchange, to innovate, and to deliberate on several policy issues.
Well, yes. As I said, it's an important economic grouping between the developed and the developing economies. It's the 16th Leaders Summit happening, been around for about 18 odd years. And it is believed that this is a very important platform for the North-South cooperation, so to say, in terms of making sure that global development goes beyond the Bretton Woods institutions, essentially the World Bank and the IMF, and there is consensus. So a lot of policy making and a lot of influencing of policy making insofar as global economic scene is concerned happens during these summits. And apart from that, as I said, Prime Minister is going to have a number of bilaterals, and those are also significant given the fact that for the last almost 2 years, there has been almost cap on any travel outside because of COVID. So Prime Minister did travel to the United States to participate in the UNGA and, of course, the bilateral with President Biden.
Abhishek, request you to stay on with us. Strategic Affairs expert, we have Sushant Sareen with us on the phone line. Good morning to you, Sushant. The Prime Minister has just landed there in Rome, early morning there. But if you can also enumerate the highlights of the Indian ASEAN summit, what is it really important about, and what do you expect that the Indian Prime Minister will be raising those issues there?
Well, I think he's gone to Rome for the G20, and I think in the G20 what is important is, of course, international global economic issues. But I believe he's going to have a couple of bilaterals on the sidelines, including with the Saudi Crown Prince. And that will be very critical because India has been talking about the need to moderate, petroleum prices by the OPEC and by other petroleum-producing countries, because the international economy depends on oil being correctly priced and not overinflated. So I think that will be something to watch out for, whether something comes out of it. With the Saudis and with some of the other countries he'll be interacting with, there are also important bilateral strategic issues which will come up for discussion. But other than that, I think from Rome he then proceeds to for the climate conference in Glasgow. And I think that will also be very critical because India has to play a very pivotal part in the climate conference. While India is committed to, doing whatever it needs to do on the issue of climate change, but at the same time, the burden for doing all of that needs to be shared equitably. So I think there are important issues which are going to be at stake. And one will need to watch out for what is the outcome at the end of these meetings. Not all the outcomes will be immediately known, but perhaps you'll get some idea of the direction in which things are likely to go.
Right. Yes, because he had also addressed the East Asia Summit where he had reaffirmed India's focus on free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific and the principle of the ASEAN centrality in the region. But also important to note what the Prime Minister had said while he was leaving for Italy, where it is the time to commemorate at least 30 years of the ASEAN-India partnership. And we've decided to celebrate the year 2022 as India-ASEAN Friendship Year. Sushant Sareen, thank you very much for joining us here on the broadcast. Abhishek, thanks very much to you also for joining us and getting us those details.